Hello, you welcome to today's video. My name is Frank, and today we're going to be talking about voice register or vocal registers. Now, the term vocal registers is one of the most talked about yet still misunderstood concepts in voice training. And it comes from the fact that we have the word registers, which actually mean different things to different people, but a general and accepted definition to this is a register is a series of consecutive tones with similar properties. And I'll define it from two perspectives. The first one, I'll define it from the perspective of the larynx. I'll explain what the larynx is shortly, okay? So from a purely laryngeal perspective, a register can be defined as a series of consecutive tones produced by the same mechanism. So that's the first one, okay? So for the second one, I'll define it from an acoustic perspective. A register can be defined as a series of consecutive tones produced with similar voice quality, because they are produced by the same vocal mechanisms or organs in your throat. I need to remind you how voice is produced, how you get sound when you talk, okay? Let's go down to the basics, okay? Sound is produced by vibration, okay? The vibration of maybe two objects. For instance, if I clap like this, you can hear sound because this hand is vibrating against this one, is hitting against this one, causing vibrations in particles in the air, okay? And that reaches your ear as sound, okay? It reaches your eardrum as sound. Now, the harder I go like this, the louder the sound, okay? That is like in music concept, that's what's called decibel, okay? The decibel is higher, and with this one, the decibel is lower. Okay, so, and also that has to do with energy, because the more I go with force, that means I'm using up more energy. And if I go like this, I'm using up less energy. And this is also found in singing and in music, where you have different levels in loudness, but we're not going to talk about that now. Okay, we're going to talk about vocal registers today. Okay, so how is voice produced in your voice? So we have your lungs, which I'm sure you know, right? And you have your windpipe. Okay, so when air goes into you, right, it goes in as oxygen. All right, so when this air comes out, it comes out through your trachea, or what you call your windpipe. And it's not yet sound when it's going up like this, okay? So it's when it reaches here, all right? It hits against two ligaments or muscles per se, and these are called the vocal folds or the vocal cords, all right? And they are something like this, okay? When the air comes through like this, it goes like this, okay? That's the air causing it to, remember again, two objects, all right? Create sound, the vibration of two objects. All right, so when it goes like this, that's when you hear the sound. That's when you hear the sound, okay? Now, singing is just like talking. You may have heard me say this a couple of times. Yes, because what causes you to sing is the same things that help you talk. But where singing is kind of different to talking is, in talking, you don't care about the key you're using, right? The notes you're using. But in singing, you have to, because it has to be compatible with the key. And that's how God made the universe, okay? And man just discovered these sounds. I've done episodes before where I talked about the keys we have. And, you have to blend into that key with singing. So that's where skill comes in. And anybody can do this. If you can talk, you can sing. All right? So when the sound hits your vocal cords, it creates, when the air rather hits your vocal cord, it creates sound, and you can reshape this sound to form different words, different things with your tongue, with your palate, your upper palate, the soft one, the hard one, all the mechanisms in your larynx. Yeah, by the way, larynx is what a lot of people call Adam's apple. Yeah, so in your larynx, it's also called the voice box. So in your larynx, that's where you have your vocal folds and other muscles that coordinate singing. All right, so by reshaping these, you have different sounds different tones, and even words. Like if I go, oh, you can see my mouth is round and my tongue, oh, is flat, all right, in my mouth, and that gives you the O sound. And if I go, yeah, you see, my mouth is shaped differently, and all these things take different shape to help you shaping the sound that comes from here into different tones and different words. All right. So let's come back to singing. That's where we begin to understand the concept of vocal register. It takes up different shape to help you reach different areas when you're singing. So when you're singing, it's different from talking. I mentioned the fact that you have to be in key, right? Now, talking, most times you don't need several notes, you don't need many notes, right? Even though several notes exist, there are 12 keys in music, all right, but you don't need all of them when you talk. So easy, you just talk with 1 or 2 notes or so. But when you're singing, in singing we have wide variety of notes. You have notes that really reach high, and that tends to be a problem for aspiring singers or potential singers, or most singers, right? Reach really high, some reach really low, and it gives you a real combination, a good combination, which a lot of people call melody, right? So some songs can go really high, some can go really low, and this is where I come in today with vocal registers, which if you learn and put it to work, right, you can sing any song, and I mean any song. Okay, so are you ready to dive in with me? We're gonna go from the lowest register up to the highest register. All right, okay, let's go. So the first one, the lowest one, is what we call the vocal fry, and the vocal fry enables you to hear the vibration that actually happens in here. Remember, I told you sound is produced by vibration. You can actually hear the activity or the action of the 2 vocal folds when you do your vocal fry. Come on, we can try it. Let's go. What you hear, the crackling sound in here, is each vibration of the vocal cords. Okay, so the lower you go in notes, the slower it vibrates, and that enables you to hear the vibration. But the higher you go, the faster it vibrates, and then you can't hear it anymore. All right, it's like a straight, smooth thread. Clean, but they're still vibrating. Okay, so your lowest one is called vocal fry. That's the lowest register, where it vibrates so slowly. And personally, vocal fry has helped me reach beyond range that I couldn't reach before, right? Beyond my talking voice. And that enables me to also sing bass if I want to. You see, so that's the concept of sound, and that's also what we call singing with technique. When you sing with technique, that's what it's all about: having the right placement and the right shape to get you to where you want to go with your voice without struggling. For instance, we have I know who I am. Do you see that? Before I couldn't reach that, but with the knowledge of this, I could now reach it. Okay, so let's move from that and go to the one of the most popular ones, which is called the chest voice. The chest voice is called the chest voice because the resonance happens in your chest area. All right, in your chest voice, the vocal cords vibrate along its entire length. Okay, you need the entire length of the vocal cords from the tip to the bottom to vibrate to give you the chest voice, and that's why you have the resonance. If you talk in your chest voice or sing in your chest voice, you can literally feel the vibration. All right. I'll show you an example later. I'll just give you an overview of all of them, okay? And then moving from the chest voice, you come to your head voice. Okay, let's talk about head voice. All right. So in head voice, it's not called head voice just for fashion. It's called head voice because of the way it works. Now, when you sing in your head voice, you don't now need the entire length of the vocal cords to vibrate. You just need like 1/3 of it. It stretches actually. If you could see what's happening in here when you sing higher, it actually stretches and locks up to 1/3 of its length, enabling only 1/3 to vibrate. All right, and that's what helps you sing high notes with ease. All right, and then you have the mixed voice. The mixed voice is like singing chest voice. You're singing high, and you retain the power of the chest voice, right? But you're singing high with ease as well. Okay, so that's mixed voice. And then we have what we call whistle voice. Whistle voice is the highest of them all. And then we have falsetto. Falsetto is very light and airy. So let's move on to some practical example, okay? So we're gonna listen to this song and use it to demonstrate some of these registers. Maybe all of them, who knows? Let's go. So first things first, we are now going to determine what key they are singing on. Remember earlier in this video, I mentioned we have 12 keys in music. So what key are they singing on? So let's play it again and listen. Yeah, so they are singing on the key of G. So in this part of the song, I think is kind of in the chest voice area of most guys, okay? So let's go with the verse. Now, maybe in another video, I'll talk about the structures of song. This is the verse of the song, all right? So the chest voice will sound something like this. It's around my talking voice. Now remember, chest voice is not just a single note. It's an area where you can sing comfortably with your chest resonance, all right? The breath of life, flawless in creation, your creative words produced the universe. Okay, so if you notice, I sang the breath of life. All right, so that's around my talking voice. See, kind of similar to my talking voice. Okay, so the next part I'm gonna show you. I already demonstrated the vocal fry. Yeah, I sang. But the next one I'm gonna demonstrate is I talked about head voice, right? So let's go forward. Your wisdom must be your time. The sun of righteousness. That's who you are. Okay, that's who you are. He sang, "That's who you are," and you heard, right? It sounded a bit higher than what he was singing before, and it sounded a bit more powerful. What he sang with there is mixed voice. All right. Mixed voice, like I told you, sound more powerful, is kind of up there. So there has to be a reshaping in here, kind of similar to the anatomy of the head voice, where the vocal cords kind of zip up to third of its length, leaving only 1/3 for you to sing with, 1/3 to vibrate, okay, to give you this sound. So he's like, "That's who you are. That's who you are." Now, we're talking about head voice, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to sing this instead with head voice. The head voice, like I said before, is not a cliche. It's named after where the resonance is. Chest voice, you feel the resonance around here. Head voice goes to your back hair. So head voice is kind of a back voice, a backward voice, all right? So it's at the back of the head. It's not so powerful, yes, yet it's nice, and yes, we use it in singing as well, all right? There's some part of the song where things get loud, you can't use your head voice, else your head voice is going to sound drowned, okay? It's kind of weaker. A more powerful and stronger voice is the mixed voice, which you may use when the song gets louder, okay? But for now, so if I want to sing this with head voice, I'll sing it this way. That's who you are. That's who you are. Notice how it sounds different from what he sang. That's who you are. Did you notice that? So that is head voice and mixed voice. The mixed voice is a stronger one. The head voice is the lighter one. Very good textures you can use. You can even use a combination of them when you're singing. So that's how many registers now. We talked about the vocal fry. We demonstrated the vocal fry. And we talked about the chest voice. We demonstrated the chest voice. And then we talked about the head voice and also the mixed voice, all right? Now, as this song progresses, you'll notice there's a rise. When we get to the chorus, there's a rise in the notes. The note no longer live in a certain area. Perhaps it went into the next octave, the next level up. So you don't sing that area with chest voice because it's a bit too high for chest voice. all these things is like traveling from the lowest to the highest. So there's what we call a bridge. When you go from your vocal fry and you want to enter your chest voice, which is the next one, you cross a bridge called a passaggio, or a passage area, or bridge, like I just mentioned. They're all the same thing. And then you enter the chest voice. And then from the chest voice, you go up, 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 and you get to the area where chest voice can't go any further. You transition into the mixed voice, all right, which is a mixture of head and chest voice. And again, you cross a passaggio. Now, guys or males usually transition from one register to another around E, F, F sharp, all right? And ladies, they find that transition going from one register to another, they find a transition around A, B flat, B. Okay, so remember that. So vocal training exercises would help you transition smoothly. Else, you may find breakages in those areas before you transition to the next one. So we're talking about how you transition from one area into another area, in this case from the verse to the chorus. Now, the breath of life, that's how the verse sounds, okay? Now, when you get to the chorus, you notice there's a lift, all right, in the notes. It goes higher, so it sounds, unto you I lift my voice. Now, for most guys, this might be really high, all right? So what you probably do is just sing ad-libs on a lower level, but I won't major on that today, okay? So I'm just demonstrating the head voice, mixed voice, and all these vocal registers we have that will help you sing comfortably. So for that part, you know, you sing with head voice. You can sing it with head voice. Unto you I lift my voice, you are holy, Lord. Or if you can reach it, because we have different voice types, okay? And guys, we have tenor, we have baritone, we have bass, all right? We even have countertenor, okay? So depending on your voice type, you know, some guys can reach this. Unto you we lift our voice, you are holy, Lord. Okay, that's with mixed voice. I sang it with head voice. The only way you can sing this with chest voice is singing the lower octave. Unto you we lift our voice. But that's where the problem is, because your voice won't be able to sit on top of the choir. You know, you don't sit on top of the choir singing chest voice, singing something too low. You have to go to mixed voice so you can tower above the choir, because mixed voice is forward, the head voice is back. In fact, when you go, you can feel the resonance at the back of your head. But mixed voice is like a forward voice. It sits out from the instrumentalist, from the background vocalist. Unto you, rather than unto you I lift my voice, you are. This is head voice, right? But mixed voice is very, very powerful. So let's move quickly to the next one. The very next one is the whistle voice, C6. Anything above C6 is whistle voice area in music. Well, it sounds thin because when you're reaching the end of your range, the sound or the volume gets lighter and lighter. And it happens at both ends, both the low part when you go into the bass. All right. If you find out that you can barely generate power, energy, same as the other part, which is the whistle voice. And when you sing with technique, you're most likely to hit the whistle voice. Now the last one is falsetto. Probably I'm going to make another video to show you the difference between head voice and falsetto, because people mix up head voice and falsetto a lot. Head voice is a more fuller sound. They sound similar in tone, but head voice is a more fuller sound. Oh, unto you I lift my voice, you are. It's more controllable, right? I can even go crescendo, soft to loud with it. But with whistle, with falsetto, you can't do that because there's a lot of air coming through. It's like clapping like this. The vocal cords are barely making contact, so you're not singing with a full tone. In the verse, I can use whistle voice. It's not a bad voice or a bad tone. Okay, some singers use it as effect. All right, when they're singing to maintain the softness of that part of the song. They don't want to sing loud that part. So I'll just show you a short example of how maybe you can use falsetto. It sounds so airy. You see, it's almost like 50% air coming out with 50% sound. All right, that makes it sound airy. So an example is you can use it and add sprinkles all around, all over, the song, the full length of the song you're singing, to create effects, emotion. It makes you sound emotive when you're singing. So it's not a bad voice, all right? It's not a bad tone. You can use it as an effect in this way. For instance, you're singing the breath of life. You see that life? I made it sound soft. It's almost like falsetto. Flawless in creation, your creative words produced. You see, in words there, it's kind of high. I don't want to sing it with mixed voice, right? To sound powerful. I just want to maintain a certain volume, and also it adds some kind of emotive kind of tone to it. Your creative words produced the universe. So I'm back to my chest voice after doing that in that part of the song, words. Your creative words. So when you listen to some singers, especially professional singers who sing with dynamics, and indeed you should, because yes, singing should be dynamic in nature, you'd notice these things. You definitely begin to notice them. Well, this is where I'm going to stop for today, and I hope you learned a lot. Thank you so much for watching, and I'm going to see you next time. Bye.
You can now extend your voice to reach really high notes. Eliminate voice breakage, become a more confident singer.
With you, I feel possible. With you, I feel possible.
Develop a rich tone quality, have more control when you sing, and so much more by purchasing a copy of the best and most affordable voice training lesson from our website called Singing with Freedom. Go to www.thevocallexicon.co.uk and click the shop page and select the singing lesson called Singing with Freedom. Congratulations!
Multiplication is